This is the Snooz Breez fan. It is a smart bedroom fan and white noise machine in one. I've had the opportunity to use this for the past month in a bedroom, and I'll explain to you why this has now replaced the other fans that we use in a bedroom. Hey guys, Mike Mo here. Today I have something very special to share with you. Snooz sent me this special fan. As we all know, I love fans, to do a little video and a little first impressions review. So let's go ahead and get started. Snooz is a company apparently that creates noisemakers. Not just any noise to help drown out all the noise that you don't like to hear. So this is a combination of a fan for comfort and also a white noise machine also for comfort as well. But comfort in the sense that it helps you to sleep and drown out the everyday bustles of life. So we're going to go ahead and open this up, check it out, and see what's inside. This is a very premium product, in case you can't tell from the packaging. If you're interested in it, I'll have details down below. But okay, let's go over some of the features. As you can see, it's a fan. It's got a little, what appears to be a touchscreen control panel on here. But you can also control it with an app that you can download on your smartphone. The box looks really nice, but inside, there's not a whole lot to it. You basically have what we see here as the fan. And this is a really nice looking fan. You got a little AC adapter. I imagine that these AC adapters are going to be available for worldwide use. And this is 100 volt to 240 volt and outputs 24 volts at 2.5 amps. There's nothing else in the box. Let's take a closer look at this. All right, first impressions. This feels like a fine fan from a very well-known company that starts with a V. The plastic is high quality, very smooth. This is definitely high-end plastic around the whole unit. It has a nice solid feel to it, actually. Feels very well built. You can see the fan grids are actually very fine, which helps to keep stuff from flowing into it, at least bigger items as well. The DC jack is over here in the back. And you know, everything's nice and white and clean. This is actually real wood here on the base. I don't think I've ever had a fan with real wood as part of the whole entire product, but it is definitely a nice, very modern feel and aesthetic to it. On the bottom, we have some rubber that you would find in some high-end electronics so that you don't scratch up the base or your fancy furniture. And then there's also some information here as well. It looks like a serial number, and the model is Snooz-BRZ. This is a patent-pending product. It's made in China. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. And oh, on the bottom here, you'll see there's this actually a little user guide. And they have in the back ways for you to contact them in case you need any help with your breeze. I'm going to get this out and plug it in. 24 volts at 2.5 amps. Looks like it will do about, it might pull up to a maximum of 60 watts of power as needed. So I'm just going to plug this in and use a portable little power pack here I have on the side to power this up, to give it a try. All right, it's plugged in now. I'm just going to put this here in the back. And big button right here, power button. Oh, wow. I don't know if you hear that. It sounds like a white noise machine. sounds powerful, doesn't it? It's a nice breeze. It's not overwhelmingly powerful, but you know what this is? See this? It has two separate controls here. This is to control the fan speed. It has a nice sound to it by itself already. And this controls the white noise. Now this is not digital white noise. This is real white noise created by a motor inside this system. This is what Snooz does. And it's strange, but I can tell a difference. I don't know if you can hear that very well, but it does sound very nice. Almost sounds like there's an ocean in the background, but it's not the ocean because it doesn't come in waves. Now I'm going to evaluate the fan version real quick here because I'm getting really warm. Wow. Okay, that's very powerful. Yes, this definitely blows. And it looks really cool doing it too. This is on maximum setting. It blows more volume than what I would expect. I'm gonna have to connect this onto my Wi-Fi to get full-on control of the whole unit, just to get a better feel for it. But basically, that's what this does. It combines an awesome fan with a noisemaker, not a white noise machine. And no, because this is not digital, you are not going to be able to change the style and type of white noise on this. But this is a really handsome looking fan. Yeah, this is a very handsome, nice looking fan. This is something I wouldn't mind just leaving out. Most fans that I use aren't very good looking. The Woozoo fan's cute. This is kind of like the sophisticated version of one of those nice little fans. Now, what is unfortunate, you see that it is missing, is it does not actually have the infrared remote or a Bluetooth remote. And that's because you can control it with a remote that you carry around with you all the time. And that's basically your smartphone. So I'm going to go ahead. The fan's actually on right now. I'm going to have it blowing at me because it is getting a little warm here in the summer. And we're going to do a quick look in here and see what we have going on here. So we downloaded an app called Snooz. I'm going to go ahead and get around to that. You press 3 seconds for Bluetooth pairing mode. Okay, so it does have Bluetooth in there, and that's how you connect it initially. It has a 2-year limited warranty. Okay, so let's take a look inside. I'm going to download the app and we'll get a closer look at it all. All right, downloading was very easy to find. What's really surprising to me is, well, maybe because I don't really use a lot of white noise machines when I go to sleep, is that this has been around for over 4+ years and it's got a 4.9 rating. Snooz has been at it for a while, so they know their stuff. Okay, so I have it installed now, and I'm just going to open it up and put it in pairing mode. Well, you know what? The app actually guides you through things very nicely. So I'm going to set up my account here, put in my information. I could skip it if I wanted to, but I really want product updates and exclusive offers from them, and I suggest you do that as well. So here we have 4 different devices. They actually have a Snooz Pro, a Snooz, a Breeze, and a button. All right, so we have the Breeze. To connect, press and hold the power button on your Snooz device until the lights blink. So I'm going to do that right here. Okay, just a few seconds there. I think that's it. And voila, it found it. So I'm going to enter this. I'm going to call this a Snooz fan. Yeah, Snooz fan. I'm going to call it the Snooz fan. So it's now connected. And all the controls that I need to do remotely are right here on my device. So I can turn on, there's an auto fan mode, which allows me to adjust the airflow, okay, based on the temperature and the cooling preference. So it has a built-in temperature thermometer. It knows that it's 80 degrees right now. you can set the cooling temperature to the temperature that you want and then adjust airflow settings that you want it to be set at. That's way cool. This is very useful because when you want to draw in fresh air, you put this over by the window and you set the temperature you want it to and the amount of airflow, and you get it going. That I appreciate. Okay, so that's one setting. And then of course there's a sound setting. It has, let me see, how many levels of sound do we have? Level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 different levels for whatever it is that you need, or however far that you have the fan from whatever your ears are, or if you want to mask out sounds, okay, in case you need to sleep. And then the fan mode, if I'm doing a manual setting, it has level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 as well. And you know, with all these levels on here, just the fan itself, I get the feeling that it also produces a decent amount of white noise. So if you're just into the straight up fan noise versus just the white noise, that's one way that you can also do it too without having to turn on the actual white noise making machine. So that's that. Now, there's also a light setting that you can adjust for the brightness in here. Personally, if I'm using it in a bedroom, which I probably am going to be using it, I'm going to have it off. And it's really great that you have that option. There's also night mode too, that ensure all lights are off on the device. So this just stays like a regular fan that does not have lights. And that's pretty cool. All right, next up, we actually have a scheduler that allows me to add a schedule on when I want the noise to start, and when the fan is supposed to be, and what settings I want it to be at. So I could have it start out pretty low when I'm sleeping because it's not very loud, and then as the traffic noise gets up during the hours of the morning, in case you're in a city area setting, you can have it adjusted to that different setting as well. So that's pretty cool. That's one way to think about that. And then you have a fade in, fade out option to gently set those settings. And finally, we get over to the settings mode. There is a fade time where I can make some adjustments for the override and how long it takes it to do a fade. That's great. There's an auto time mode so that I guess if you were traveling or you have Pacific Daylight Time like what we have, it'll automatically change it. And there's a smart plug mode. Oh, they thought of a lot of things here. I love that they have a smart plug mode. So those of you that have smart plugs, you know that basically when you use a smart plug, you could basically turn things on and off, and that's it. And then when you do, it doesn't save the settings. With the smart plug mode, I imagine that when you lose power, when you tell Amazon's device to turn off the fan or something like that via voice command, when you turn it back on, you want it to resume the settings that you have on here. So they built that feature in here. That's excellent. I have not seen that on any other smart fan or smart device. Well done, Snooz. Well done. And that's it. That's what you can do with the app. Clearly, they made most of their innovations with a white noise machine. So I'm excited to try that out later on in the evening. And you know what? On Friday, it's probably going to be the most important day to use it as, because Friday early morning, or Friday or Saturday morning, the gardeners come around and they use their wind blowers, and it's just right outside our window. So we're going to see whether or not this helps to drown out anything like that, and whether or not the actual white noise machine actually helps us sleep. So, okay, as I'm trying this isn't too far from me. Okay, I'll have the fan right over there. I want to see how quiet level 1 is. It's quiet. It's quiet, but does not get as low as another one of my favorite fans. But it definitely has more airflow at level 1 than it does probably at the same noise level. Level 2 is a nice comfortable breeze. Level 3 is kind of the low to medium setting on most tabletop fans. So I can tell this thing has some real power going to it. Level 5, I'm going to feel this across the room in a nice living room. And level 10, it is really circulating a lot of air. Like the volume of air, it is circulating volume air, but not as concentrated as let's say my Woozoo fan. But supposedly the range goes up to 80 feet, which is really on par. But I do like the quality of the air that's coming out, in the sense that it's not like buffeting. But it does seem to make a little bit more noise, and that just could be the whole design of this thing. So the fan itself is kind of already a white noise maker, and then you add on the actual white noise section of it. And it can get really loud. Well, I guess that's what this is for. I'm going to have to try this over out at night and see if we just get better general overall sleep with this fan. All right, so this has been about approximately a month later. I have now replaced my Woozoo fan with the Snooz fan, at least for the bedroom use. Particularly since this fan will only be helpful during the summer when it's a little bit warm. Okay, once it gets a little bit cooler, it's not as useful in a room. Whereas this one, since it's a 2-in-1 machine, it actually is useful because it has a built-in noise machine that allows me to customize things. Okay, so let me jump back here a little bit. This is the Snooz fan. This is made by a company, Snooz, and what they specialize in are sound machines to block out sounds from the background. So for instance, over here, I have a lot of sounds of my wife putting away the dish soap, putting it away the dishes. All right, so you can maybe hear a little bit of that. If I turn this on, this right here with the touch controls, it actually masks some of that sound so that when I'm sleeping, it kind of blocks a little bit of that. Also, conversations or your neighbors, etc., it's supposed to help a little bit. Now, there's many different levels that you can adjust this to. If you hear that, it's a little bit like a white noise that goes on here. So I can adjust that here on the actual unit itself. Now, these things actually light up, but what I did was I used the application that is available. The Snooz application is available to customize this such that the lights don't turn on. And I will be very happy to show you the Snooz application. Okay, so besides that, it's an actual fan. So it's got a fan, big rotors here in the back, okay? So the fan actually pulls in a lot of air, and then it comes out through here, of course. And then in this middle area, there's actually a secondary fan that produces the white noise that you hear. So this is real white noise produced by a real fan, made by a company that specializes in this. So this is really top notch in a case like that. So this would be great for an office environment where you really want to mask out the sounds that you have in the office so that you don't disturb anybody, or so that there's no eavesdropping, anything where confidentiality is a concern. This would make perfect sense, particularly in the independent doctor's office, for instance, for HIPAA compliance. This is one of those things where it becomes like one of those important tax expenses that actually does help improve your patient privacy or confidentiality of anything that you're talking about in the meeting room. You just put this over by the door, okay, or any other area that you need to mask the sounds coming from. So, so the reasons why this fan and this fan, okay, we already know why this is one of my favorite fans, especially for the price. So with this in the discounted, it is around 30 US dollars here over in Costco. This premium fan, however, as you can tell, it's a very premium looking fan. It has a nice birch wooden base. You can rotate it up and down only, but really not left and right. Left and right, you're just gonna have to physically move it though. This runs a retail about $200. But for those $200, you actually get a really, really nice noise machine, which is actually physically inside here, camouflaged in here in this nice looking fan, and then you actually get a really nice fan over here. So you can customize the two of them independently via these control panels, via these controls over here. So the ones that go horizontally control the white noise, and the ones top and down control the speed of the fan that moves the air. And this thing does move a lot of air, and it's actually really surprising because of the fact that the middle, if you look at the inside of the fan, this whole middle area, actually in the front, towards the front, this whole middle area is taken by an actual built-in noise machine. Now it has a brushless motor in there, uses up to 80% more efficient than a traditional brush motor or in a traditional fan. You can set optional temperature controls over here in the app, which I feel like is pretty amazing. Now this does not include an infrared remote control. That's one big difference between this and this, is I can control this from across the room with a teeny tiny remote control, and I can control all the functions. Whereas with this machine, I either have to walk up to it to make the adjustments on here, or more conveniently, since I always have a smartphone anyway, is I use the Snooz app and go in there and make some adjustments. Now, why does this make it a better machine to use in the bedroom, right? And which is where I primarily use it, or you know, in the office. Here's why. Okay. In particular, because of the noise machine, it's really helpful to mask out certain sounds that we have. Over here in Sunnyvale, it's actually really, really generally quiet, except for every Friday morning. Like around 8 in the morning, or 7-ish in the morning, we hear the gardeners on the right outside our window, you know, running the lawnmower, running what sounds like a chainsaw, but it's not, as was running a weed whacker. And for those cases, I can actually configure in the app itself, in the Snooz app, and I'll show you here on the Snooz app as I'm recording this. Well, let me change that here. So I can show you in the Snooz app here that I just pop open the Snooz app, and it's free. There's no subscription fees in here. It'll connect to the Snooz fan, and then here I can click the scheduler. All right, so I did a basic scheduling thing here, but I can mask that and add on a different schedule for Friday. And for this start time, I'll just start it at like 7. Let's just say I'll start at 7:30 in the morning. 7:30 in the morning. Okay, and then I will go ahead and end it at like, let's say end it at 9. And for each individual time or schedule that I have in here, I can go ahead and set it so that I can adjust the airflow independently. I could do automatic based on the temperature and how far down I want it cool. All right, this is very helpful in the summer. Or if it's cooler on the outside, I put this up against the window. Cooler on the outside, I'm drawing in the cool air. Or I set the sound. So for here, I want the masking sound to be quite loud. So I'll do it at level 4, which is already pretty loud given how small our bedroom is. I'll click save. So every morning, based on this schedule, every Friday morning from 7:30 to 9 a.m., it's going to mask the gardener sound outside our window. And for that, that's something that I can't do with any other sound machine that I'm aware of. I could get a separate sound machine, I guess, and connect it onto the Alexa devices and have it Alexa controlled to do it at certain times. I suppose I could do that. But here I have the granularity of controlling both that and also the airflow if I wanted more air to be pulling in. But actually what I would prefer to do is not pull in any air because they're using the weed whacker, so I would keep that off. So that's kind of the flexibility that I get. And what was kind of surprising to me was how far the Bluetooth range was. I'm all the way on one side of the house, going all the way to the other side of the house, and going through several walls. It actually goes through the kitchen, the dining room, some closets, and past the bathroom, all the way to the other end. And I can actually control and do the scheduling from this side. So what I sometimes do actually is when my wife wants to go and relax a little bit earlier, and she typically does, and she wants me to cool down the room, I don't actually have to get up or press the remote control, because we're always losing the remote control of this guy. I could just go right here via Bluetooth and connect and adjust the speed or adjust the sound settings, and that works really well. So surprisingly well. I actually expected very little of the Bluetooth range, but it actually turned out to be fantastic. Now onward to the control of the airflow. Now some people might have questions about the airflow. I'm going to blow this right over here and I'm going to turn it on. This is level 1. And you might not be able to see, but it's actually a really nice gentle breeze. It doesn't get quite as low as my Dyson, but the sound of it does, which is great because you always want more airflow and less sound. So level 1, and then level 2, maybe you might start seeing a little bit of my hair moving. Level 2 is also a nice little breeze. Level 3 is where it gets a little bit serious. Level 3 is what I typically do to cool down the room without adding too much noise. So you may or may not hear that already, but it's actually a nice white noise by itself. By level 4, it's getting noticeable. You can definitely hear it in the room. Level 5, it's already blowing a fair amount of room. On some fans, this is already a high. Okay, and then it goes even more. It goes to level 6, level 7, level 8, and then finally level 9, and then level 10. So I will say this, level 10 pushes a lot of air, like a nice big volume, and it's not super concentrated, but if it's about 20-30 feet away, I'm definitely feeling the air coming my way, and that is really nice. It's not as concentrated as the Woozoo, because the Woozoo is really small, right? The outlet here, and this is one of the reasons why the Woozoo fan will you'll be able to feel the breeze coming out all the way 80 feet away, whereas this one I would feel it, but I would also hear it too. And that's just simply because of the fan. The fan is simply just blowing and pushing a lot of air coming through. Now what I like also is that this doesn't make a beep. The lights can also turn off completely, whereas with my original Woozoo fan, it still makes that beep, of course, which could be a little bit annoying. And this also has a natural wind function, which some people really like. I'm okay with it sometimes. I only use it because some of the times when I want the fan to actually feel like it's getting a little bit lower in terms of the fan, a little bit more variety, and I do not get that with the Snooz fan. But this really pushes a lot of air too. It's just more concentrated, so I feel the concentration directly on me, and for that it might feel like it's cooling off a little bit more, a little bit better, but I think the volume as far as the air that's coming through, I believe if I looked at the statistics, there's actually more air being pushed by this, but over a broader range. So then more of the room actually feels the air. Whereas with this one, because it has that 360 head and it goes all over the place, this will cover more area, more space, particularly if you're up close, but it'll be a lot more concentrated. And the fact that I can have this remotely controlled to move the head in a certain direction, that's pretty special. This one, I can't do it. That's one of the things that I'm definitely going to miss. Particularly have the remote control handy and I want to blow the air a certain way. I could do it remotely via infrared with this. With this, I'll have to physically get up there and actually move it and change it. So, but for use in a bedroom, I have to say that this is just simply better for our use. It cools it down, and also now during the winter when I actually don't need the fan because it's going to be cold, just like every winter here, cold for California anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and use the noise, the noise masking feature on here, the noise machine. It shushes all the disturbances and really just makes sleeping through those disturbances a lot more comfortable and more at ease. So there are a total of, 10 by 10, 100 different combinations that you can do with this fan. because there's 10 speeds each, 10 speeds for the noise machine. So I'll power that up so you can hear it. That is maximum. And then this is the fan. We'll push this over at maximum too so you can hear it. And I will also say that this feels like I'll talk about another brand, Vornado. I'm very familiar with Vornado, and this kind of has that whole aesthetic of a more modern, more upper class Vornado machine, which does cost probably $200 or more actually, now that I think about it. But that does have a warranty. Sometimes it's 25 years, sometimes it's lifetime if you have one of the really old ones. And I do believe the warranty on this is pretty standard, but I'll show up here on the screen what the warranty is on here. Okay, so that's it for this Snooz fan. I think this makes a great gift for anybody who has trouble sleeping, or anybody who needs a little bit more confidentiality and privacy of masking out sounds that might be coming from a certain direction, or anybody who just needs a nice white noise machine, but also a fan. It's like a two multifunction in one. Oh, that level 1 fan is really nice up close. Like if you don't have any space, it is a really nice slow little breeze. That is very pleasant. Okay, compare that with Woozoo. The Woozoo's pretty good too. I have to say the Woozoo sounds a little bit more mechanical. Yeah, the Woozoo sounds more mechanical. And because this is brushless DC motor, this has better sound. And you get a lot more granular control with this. So those are the reasons why this Snooz fan is now replacing the other fans in the bedroom.